Hi everybody, so my name's Sarah if you don't know me already. And I know I haven't posted in a while, but I have decided that I'm going to stop being a lazy bum and start posting again. So I decided today I would make a video about my birth story, because who doesn't love a great traumatic horrific birth story, right? So my due date was July 6th. So my due date was July 6th, and my son decided he would wait till after his due date to be born. So July 6th, that evening, around 6 p.m., I start noticing I'm getting contractions, but they're really irregular, so I'm keeping track of them on my little contraction app, but they're still super random, so it doesn't mean that I'm in, like, active labor quite yet, like time to go to the hospital yet. So I was still in like pre-labor. So the next morning I wake up about 6 a.m. So about 12 hours has passed now, and I woke up out of my sleep because I was a bit uncomfortable, and I had to like keep shifting. So then I'm like laying in bed, half asleep still, and I realized that these contractions, a few of them seemed really consistent in their time. So I woke up and I started counting them again, and I noticed for the next like hour and a half or so that all my contractions are about 3 minutes apart, and they are about 45 seconds to a minute long. So I called my midwife, and she's like, okay, well, just to make sure it's actually like active labor, why don't you take a shower or a bath, see if the hot water on your back and your stomach helps to alleviate the contractions. Once you get out, if they've stopped or they're better, they're not as intense, you're not in active labor. If they are the same or get worse or get closer together, like, call us, let us know. And so I go take my shower. I'm a little nervous because I did not want that to ruin the contractions. I was so excited to have my son. And but then I get out of the shower and I'm still having the contractions. So I wait a little bit, and they told me to come into the hospital once I got to the point where I could not talk through the contractions anymore. Now, this was my first child, and I'm a wuss when it comes to pain. And my mom and I were outside. We were walking around trying to get like this to feel a little better and to help labor progress more. Apparently, walking helps. So we're walking around, and I start getting contractions. I notice that I have to stop walking, and I'm like stopping, and I'm kind of just squatting a little bit and breathing through it. Now, I felt like I wanted to breathe through them. I didn't really want to talk. So in my head, I term that as, oh, I can't talk. So I'm telling the midwife that, and she's like, okay, yeah, come to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. I'm planning to deliver at a birth center in the hospital, and they're much more particular about making sure that you are there at the last minute possible, because there's really only so much they can do with you being unmedicated. They can't really help you out with this. So they want you to do most of your labor at home. So I get to the birth center. They're like, okay, we're going to wait. Or first they checked me, and I had been checked on the 5th, which was my last baby appointment, and I was at 1 centimeter dilated. And at that point, they did a membrane sweep to help get the dilating to progress faster. And so they checked me now. It's 2 days later, and I am at 2 centimeters. And so I was a little like pretty disappointed. And oh no, I think I was like at 2.5. I was 2.5. So it's pretty disappointing. They're like, okay, well, we're just gonna have you stay here. We're gonna wait for a couple hours, come back, and then we're gonna check you again and see if you are in active labor and you're actively progressing. So it's okay. I go and hang out in the jacuzzi, which makes my cramps feel, or my contractions feel, so much better. Like, I highly recommend, if you have the ability to go to like a jacuzzi or like a volcano or something, go sit in it, because it will make a huge difference to your contractions. Trust me. So I'm sitting in the jacuzzi for a couple hours, then they come back and they want to check me again. And I think I actually had been there for probably about 4 hours roughly. And they checked me, and I am at 2 and barely a 3. Okay, so I lied. When I got to the hospital, I was at a 2. Now they check me, I'm at a 2.5. And so they're like, yeah, you gotta go home. So I was like, okay. But the other option they were giving me was either go home or to go up to the delivery room, a regular delivery room, if I really did not want to leave. But I wouldn't be able to give birth at the birth center like I really wanted. So I was like, no, I'll go home. So the nurse leaves, and they start getting everything ready to discharge me. And then DeMarco and I decide we're gonna do what we can do to help speed things along. I won't come out say it, but if you know, you know. So we do that, and what we did made my contractions totally different. They were much more intense, and it was like just a switch instantly. Like I was okay, fine, to okay, actually this is pain. So I was totally wrong about how it felt before. So the nurse comes back in, and I'm getting these much more intense cramps, and it was like, or contractions. I keep calling them cramps. These were not cramps. These are contractions. And so the nurse comes back, and they're much more painful now. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stay. I'll go up to the delivery room. I don't want to go home yet. And so I go up to the delivery room, and I'm just in there. They're like, okay, so we could give you something called Pitocin that's gonna help to make your contractions much more painful and also much more quicker together. But that will help. The idea behind that is that it'll help you to dilate quicker, the cervix to open up and like get the baby down faster. So ideally, you know, the baby or labor will come much quicker, or ideally like pushing is gonna come much quicker. So I was like, okay, yeah, we'll try Pitocin. So I'm back up in the delivery room for the next several hours, and I'm in the jacuzzi. They have not given me Pitocin, but they did hook me up to an IV when I first got there, and they put something into my blood, which I found later on was something to help out with Pitocin or something, I don't know. But I wasn't really paying full attention, and I thought that at first what they gave me was Pitocin. So I'm in the jacuzzi, and I'm thinking, okay, I've already gotten it. My contractions are getting worse. The jacuzzi was helping, but I still was definitely in a lot of pain. After a couple hours of being in there, DeMarco and I decide, okay, let's get out. Let's walk around the hallway, see how I'm doing. I cannot walk. I'm like, you have to keep stopping, and just like, that was when I could not breathe through it, or could not talk through it. And probably at that point was when I should have came to the hospital, but whatever. We get back to the room, and then they're like, oh, okay. I got a booger on my nose. Oh, that's cat hair. I thought that was a booger. Oh god, that's embarrassing. Anyway, oh, okay, so then they're like, well, we could check you again, see how you're doing, and then if you are not progressing enough, we could give you the Pitocin. And I'm like, oh god, I haven't even had it yet. Okay. I was at a 3? Yeah, a 3. And they hit me on the Pitocin. Now, what I didn't realize was that Pitocin meant that I could no longer be in the jacuzzi. I would never have agreed to doing this if I knew I could not sit in the jacuzzi. Get to the point where my contractions were at the worst for me. I want to say they were easily lasting a minute, at least a minute. I want to say more than that, like a minute and a half, but I don't know. Definitely a minute. And I kid you not, the time between the two contractions would be a few seconds. Like, it was that fast. And so I could not, there was no time that I had to just sit and breathe. I'm literally spending my entire contractions just talking myself to like, it's okay, this is gonna pass, the pain won't last forever, this will get over, like, this will be over eventually. And that's the only way I'm able to even cope through the contractions. And I'm just sitting there fantasizing about like literally just ripping my skin open and pulling them out, because that's all I wanted to do. So then I want to say about 10 o'clock comes, and DeMarco and I get the room to ourselves now. Everybody's gone. I tell him like, hey babe, I know we had this idea of this beautiful natural birth, no medicine or anything like that, and I'm sorry, I can't do it. And I know you're supposed to sit there and be like my support person and be like, yes, you can, but no, I can't. You have no idea how I feel. And so we come to this agreement. Like, the next time that they check us, if I have not significantly progressed, then we'll take the epidural. Now, I meant significant as in like I'm at 8, 9, or let's go have the baby kind of significant. So they come to check me again, and I kid you not, they tell me I'm at a 3.5 or 4 if you really stretch it. I was like, not even 1 whole centimeter. Like, we're done. Get this baby out. Give me the medicine. I'm done. So about an hour goes on between me and the midwives talking about whether or not I really do want the medicine, like I said. The lady comes in and she gives me just this amazing relief. Within a couple minutes of the epidural, my body just went my whole lower half just went numb, and I was so grateful for it. And so I take a nap I go to sleep for a few hours, and every 30 minutes a nurse comes in and she's turning me to each side so that one side doesn't get more than the other. I get woken up at about 4 a.m. I wake up out of my sleep because I get this really intense pressure, and it feels like I have to poop or a baby's coming. I told DeMarco, babe, I either gotta really poop or this baby's coming. And he's like, okay, let's wait it out a little bit and we'll see. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait like 20-30 minutes, and if this keeps happening, like, we're calling the nurse. And so he's like, okay. Luckily, a couple minutes later, the nurse actually just walks in, and so I was like, yeah, hey, could you check me? So she does, and DeMarco's over here like, yeah, doc, what do you got, like a 7, an 8? She's like, we got a 10, so I'm gonna go get the midwives and let them know it's time to go. And I was like, I told you. And so I'm super pumped now. I'm like, yes, it's baby time finally. And sorry, one of my cats is in heat and she's just loud as hell. So then they get the midwives, they come in and they give me this whole speech about like how to push, whatever, like this whole spiel before the pushing starts. Around 4:40, 4:50 is when I actually start pushing. And at first, with the first several pushes, I will say I didn't feel pain. I don't remember feeling pain. I remember feeling like a lot of pressure, Like I was super constipated. I keep pushing, and then I notice that I'm getting to a point with my pushing where it's like I can feel him actually moving further down the birth canal. And then as soon as Maggie! As soon as I stopped pushing, though, then I felt him, I literally could feel him just like slide back up. So it felt super defeating, and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing nothing, like no amount of pushing is making any progress. And then I get to the best part of what is this called? Birth. So I get to the best part of birth, which is crowning. Yeah. That was a peach. No, that was literally the worst moment of my entire life. I have never in my life experienced pain like that. Contractions were a piece of cake compared to that moment. And I literally felt like there was something inside of me just like ripping me in half. And I cannot describe it any better way than that. And then this moment is where you get that movie moment where I was just like scream through the push because it's like, oh my god, like. And you know what, it really sucks because they tell you to stop pushing at a certain point, but you're still crowning and you feel it like, no, I gotta keep going, like I'm not done yet. Then I get to a point, everybody keeps saying like they see the baby coming, and oh, he's got so much hair. And then the midwife is like, Sarah, look down. It's like, no. She's like, no, Sarah, you gotta look down. So I look down, and I see my baby's head poking out, probably about like that much. It's just this tiny little head that I had never seen before, and obviously I'd never seen that just coming out of me, so that was like a little weird, but I didn't even care about how gross it was. It was just this gorgeous head coming out, and it was basically like this switch went off in my head when I saw him, and I got this insane amount of adrenaline, and like just I felt like every woman in the world was behind me, just like helping me get this baby out. Like I can't even describe the strength that I had, but I just saw that and I was like, he's coming out now. I got that boy out, and I think one more push, and yeah, I was determined when I saw him. And 5:47 a.m. my beautiful boy comes out, and they put him on my chest, and he decides to poop and pee on me, and it was still so beautiful. I mean, that part was gross, but he was still so beautiful. The next part of birth is the delivery of the placenta. They're like telling me, okay, we're gonna have you push to help like deliver the placenta. And then she's like, okay, I think what she said was that the cord detached from the placenta or something happened. So she was like, well, I'm gonna have to have my hand in there, and I'm gonna kind of help you maneuver it out as you push, you know. And then she tells me, okay, now the placenta has ripped in pieces and we're gonna have to just dig it out. And she, I kid you not, used the terminology dig it out. So they are now elbow deep in my hoo-ha pulling out a placenta. So it was basically like this switch went off in my head when I saw him, and I got this insane amount of adrenaline, and like just I felt like every woman in the world was behind me, just like helping me get this baby out. Like I can't even describe the strength that I had, but I just saw that and I was like, he's coming out now. And I just pushed with every bit of me, and I got that boy out, and I think one more push, and yeah, I was determined when I saw him. And then 5:47 a.m. my beautiful boy comes out, and they put him on my chest, and he decides to poop and pee on me, and it was still so beautiful. I mean, that part was gross, but he was still so beautiful. And then the next part of birth is the delivery of the placenta. Now they are like telling me, okay, we're gonna have you push to help like deliver the placenta. You're supposed to push just like how you would for the baby. And so I'm doing that, and I'm trying to enjoy this time with my baby and DeMarco, and we're just like in this our little family bliss, you know. And then she's like, okay, I think what she said was that the cord detached from the placenta, something happened. So she was like, well, I'm gonna have to have my hand in there, and I'm gonna kind of help you maneuver it out as you push. I was like, okay. So I'm still like just doing what she says, pushing what she says, but I'm like, baby time, you know. And then she tells me, okay, now the placenta has ripped in pieces, and we're gonna have to just dig it out. And she, I kid you not, used the terminology dig it out. So they are now elbow deep in my hoo-ha pulling out a placenta. They eventually tell me to give the baby to DeMarco because I'm gonna squeeze him to death because I'm so uncomfortable, and just oh god. And then they give me the numbing cream after that because I have to be stitched up because obviously I tore all over the place. I got so many shots, and they are so painful. I thought I'd feel like a sting and then numbness, but no, they hurt. Maybe I'm just but they hurt me bad. But yeah, so then finally they stitched me up and I was done. But that whole experience for me, I viewed was extremely traumatic. I got like so uncomfortable thinking about birth. I hated it. Like I had a horrible experience at first, and I don't say that to make you like nervous or scared or like whatever you might be feeling from that. I look at it now and I'm like, that was absolutely beautiful and like amazing. Like I gave birth to a human being. Like I still can't believe it. It's absolutely surreal, and you should be beyond freaking proud of yourself. No matter how you deliver this baby, just be proud of yourself that you did it, because you gave birth, you gave life. Like not many people, not everybody can do that. That's absolutely amazing. I think that's the most amazing thing in the entire world that anyone can do, is give birth. Like, wow. So with all that being said, remember that my experience is not going to be your experience. So for me, 38 hours of labor, very painful. Didn't give birth the way that I wanted to naturally, but you know, my baby came and he was healthy, and that is the most important thing, is just that you deliver a very healthy baby. So anything else is just perks, I guess. Anyway, that being said, I hope you guys, you know, got something, took something positive from this video, or just were entertained by it or something. I don't know, but just remember, birth is beautiful. Your experience is going to be magical and different and unique. And best of luck. I can't wait to do it again. Yeah. So good luck on your births, everybody. And thanks for watching. Oh, and if you haven't, I guess I should say subscribe to my channel. So thank you.